a triangle. Well, um, okay, so today I'm gonna learn how to draw. I'm gonna make it a series, kind of. Just, keep learning how to draw, starting from zero. And, yeah, so I have some simple concepts that I've written down. I'm gonna start with line work, so I think, just being able to draw concise lines, concise outlines, sort of, instead of just, like, kind of scribbling what I want, and then shape design. So just being able to draw an actual shape, like a triangle, for example, is very simple. I believe, just the simple part of the concepts at least, Then 3D vision. So being able to turn that into something that's three-dimensional and beyond that, I suppose, being able to view how it plays out into the drawing. I think. And then anatomy, so being able to draw like a human or animal, I suppose. Because, because, um, yeah, humans are a big part of drawings and stuff like that. You don't have a picture of Berlin without people walking the streets, for example. Perspective is the next one. So I think like landscape kind of plays into that, or just like where you're viewing it from. Be able to envision who who's viewing what you're looking at, kind of. I guess if there's or where they're looking at it from. Like for example, say there's a hill, and then you would have a road in front of it, and then maybe like a skyline behind it, or maybe a mountain backdrop, something like that. I believe that's sort of part of perspective, at least. I don't know that. And then dynamics. And I don't remember anything about what the YouTube video I watched said. I watched like a 10-minute YouTube video. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna start with that, and out of that, I'm gonna start with line work. So I started drawing, and then I realized I just started drawing triangles. So I drew a whole full page of triangles, and I decided the next page, when I flipped it over, I would just draw more shapes. So the next page I drew squares, rectangles, circles, ovals, and trapezoids. So after I finished drawing that, I decided to go back and practice line work the way it's meant to be practiced. So what I had found online is that you should practice the specific length that you want to draw, a steady speed of drawing it. You should follow through. So say I want to draw from here to here, I should draw through, except I, pick it up after. So you go a through motion, kind of like a baseball swing, or I probably look stupid in that. I don't play baseball, or kicking a soccer ball. And then another thing I found was ghosting. So you sort of practice how you want to draw the line beforehand, and you go through the motion a couple times, and then you put the pencil down and draw it. And the final thing was simple strokes. So you don't want to draw like a detailed face all in one go. You want to break it down into more simple strokes, such as a C curve or an S curve. So at this point, I decided to move on to working with 3D shapes. I started off with just doing cubes and understanding kind of how they work with perspective a little bit, although I don't exactly understand perspective yet. To be honest, at this moment, all I've done is draw cubes, but it took me a while to do that. I was sort of having a hard time understanding exactly how they work because I think I was getting into some stuff that might be a little too advanced for me. Although, I'll go on and tell you them in just a second. So I started with 3D shapes and how they work with perspective. From what I can understand so far, I think that's kind of what 3D vision is, although perspective's obviously its own thing. One of the main things that I'd found was a vanishing point. A vanishing point being where lines converge towards, well, a vanishing point. At least that's what I know so far. I found that there were 3 axes, of course, the Y, X, and Z, and that you can have a 1-point perspective, a 2-point perspective, or a 3-point perspective. With the 1-point perspective, only one axis would converge towards the vanishing point. With 2, it would be 2, and with 3, it would be 3. So what I tried to do after learning this was draw cubes that used vanishing points to convey them in different ways. Each cube kind of looked different, although some I would kind of repeat over again to get my own grasp of how it worked. It was confusing to learn, to be honest. This clip is pretty long, and it only ended up being actually about half the stuff I drew on this page. So this is what I got at the end of the clip, and as you can see, it's not much. And the pyramids on this, by the way, are me trying to figure out how the vanishing point works with the cube. But then this is what I got once I finished drawing all together, and I kind of understood it a little bit more by this point. Now after that, I drew this, where I tried to use 3D vision and perspective to draw a simple street view with a couple buildings, a parking garage, and a metro. With the buildings, I used 2 lines converging towards a vanishing point off the top of the paper to convey how tall they are. Then I shaded in the sides, which weren't really given much definition other than the alleyway beside them and between the buildings, to show the depth that it's not the same thing as the alleyway. With the parking garage, I used a vanishing point to create more depth along the side, or the Z-plane, which isn't something that's easily done in drawing without using a vanishing point, I believe. With the top of it, I created a semicircle, then at the back a sort of half semicircle and shaded in between them to create a roof. Then I did something similar with the metro. So after I finished drawing that, I figured I had a decent grasp of it and that it would be best to move on to anatomy. And I quickly learned that anatomy was going to be pretty challenging. So I've decided to make that its own episode, and if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe and tune in for the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much.